You think they're going to notice that the monitor behind me is off because I rebuilt a computer? Looks like the screens are blinking at me. Are you going to wink at me too? Skip it up and that up! Hey everybody, your favorite man with an ass is now on Cameo. You could get your own personalized video message sent directly from me to you. Link to my Cameo below in the description. I look forward to seeing you there. So GameStop is a corporate story that I don't think we'll ever see reproduced again, because I have a feeling when GameStop closes down and shuts down, which it still will, there'll never be a store like it again. It's kind of like, I always bring up this example, but it's true. Blockbuster. Has it been a very slow decline? Absolutely. Have they survived longer than I thought they would? Yeah, pretty much. But the writing is on the wall. I know a bunch of people this generation, this isn't going by numbers or statistics, that don't even buy physical games for their current gen consoles anymore. I mean, especially because a lot of times the games aren't in their entirety on the disc anyway. It's a coaster. Say Sony goes out of business, Microsoft goes out of business. Okay, great, you bought the Blu-ray of Far Cry 6. The full game isn't there anyway, so it's not like you actually have a physical copy. You just have a Far Cry 6 coffee cup coaster if Sony, Microsoft ever goes out of business. But beyond all that, it's just times are changing. People aren't going into GameStop anymore to buy used games. That was, especially during the 6th and 7th generation, that was their bread and butter, man. People would come in there, they either needed money or weed money, or they just wanted money to use for credit to buy a different game. GameStop would buy, or you could trade in your game for pennies. They would turn around and flip it for $30, $40, or if it was a new game, they would just take off like $5 off the price. And their selling point with that, I always remember, like, yeah, this is a used copy of a brand new game that you could get right now, brand new, and it's only a $5 difference. But how they used to get people to buy the used game is that, oh, you could bring it back in a week. If you don't like it, you could bring it back and get a full refund. And there was more profit to be made because you could trade in those games and you would trade them in for nothing, so the margin on them was astronomically high. But times have changed. People are downloading games more now. Digital distribution is a huge thing, even on the consoles, not just on PC gaming, and the writing is on the wall. I don't care what happened with Wall Street Bets. That was an anomaly that no one saw coming. I even know a couple people that became millionaires because of that. But the chances of something like that happening again, you're better off just going to play the lottery. They got very lucky. But right now, things are not looking good for GameStop once again, and they treat their employees like absolute crap on top of all that. Well, More Perfect Union has spoke to GameStop employees and asked them how bad things were. And GameStop pretty much tortured them, forced them to lie to customers, gave customers misleading information, and they basically drove the employees that work for GameStop into the ground. I'll have a link to the full video from Twitter from More Perfect Union in the description. But here's a highlight from that video, and it'll make you never want to shop at GameStop again if you haven't already stopped already. Take a look.
None of us had days off. It had gone like a month that way. I wasn't even able to get the weekend of my grandfather's funeral off.
Before I left, we had 11 ceiling lights ready to come out of the ceiling and fall. And we were just holding them up with measly tapes of duct tape.
The goals were with how many warranties we sold with respect to like the consoles and the controllers that we sold, as well as how many people purchased our Power Up Rewards memberships.
It's become the bread and butter of the store. It's like I've been told so many times, I don't care what you sell in the store. If you're not selling a warranty or a pro membership by the end of the day, then that not only reflects on you, but it reflects on us. Our supervisor said, let's do anything by means to ensure that these people get their warranties and such. So we would have to white lie or stretch the truth about warranties, either saying that they're a different price, like say game warranty is $3.99, we'd either say it's free or $2. And I would say, guys, I don't feel good lying to these guys because basically we're taking their money for something they didn't even ask for. but any means necessary, we had to make a sale.
He could call us or text us at literally any moment. Like, I got calls from him at 3 o'clock in the morning. He would only call us to yell at us.
It honestly was a mixture between like emotionally degrading and like you're a kid getting your hand caught in a cookie jar.
He would say things like, oh, well, we're gonna hire someone who's 18 to take your place because they'll actually work for us.
Conditions at Kyle's store in Lincoln, Nebraska were so severe that the entire store quit.
One day he called me and told me our numbers were not any better and that I needed to fire the only 2 employees I had by Friday. And I asked him how he expected me to work with just myself at that location. He's like, well, you'll figure it out. I told that to my worker, Sam, when he came in, like, hey, I do have to fire you by the end of the week. And Sam's like, okay, well, then I'm gonna hand you my keys right now. I'm like, that's fine, I'm handing in my keys right now too. And we contacted the 3rd person, they dropped their keys off at the store, and we were done. Sam's wife had jokingly sent him a text that's like, hey, you should write this down on the sign. And then he posted it on the door and we left.
I was going to say, imagine a company forcing you to lie to customers, but I've worked for a place that did that. I remember I worked for a furniture store. It was commission sales, and they would have a sale every Friday, and we would have to tell them it was like the only sale of the year. Even if we knew there was a sale coming up the next Friday that gave you a bigger discount, this is the only time this year you're going to be able to get this furniture at this discount. Oh my God, it's so disgusting. But this is like on steroids over at GameStop. It makes what I had to do, the lies there, seem like nothing. And it happens across the board too. I mean, not to this extreme. Could you imagine your district manager calling you at 3 a.m., especially like, you know, if you're working at GameStop, this is just a job you have as a young adult, just or even as a kid to make some money, and your district manager calling to threaten you at 3 o'clock in the morning saying that the numbers weren't good enough? I don't even know how they went back into work the next day after that and be like, dude, you called me at 3 a.m. I'll come give you the keys. That's it. And eventually that's what they did, between having to lie to customers to get them to buy warranties, the constant pressure. And it's not even motivational what the managers are doing there. They're like, you don't get these numbers, you're canned. You're absolutely fired. And then as you see there, the one guy had to fire his other 2 employees. He's like, nah, I'm out too. You're not even taking care of this place. There's lighting fixtures coming off the walls. You treat us like crap. We're shutting down. And I don't blame him. I friggin' applaud them for doing that. But I've noticed this trend. This is what happens when companies are not doing as well. They always push it too. Like of course you go into Best Buy. Best Buy's doing well. They want you to buy warranties and stuff like that, which with certain items, I'm not affiliated with Best Buy. I'm not sponsored by them. I think you should. Having the warranty has saved my ass on some of that stuff. But I remember going to Filene's is gone. I used to work there when I was in college and late in high school. And in the beginning, they actually gave you an incentive to sign people up for Filene's card. Like, oh, you'll get a kickback or something like that. Then they stopped doing that. And it went from, oh, if you don't get XYZ amount of Filene's credit lines opened up, you're going to be unemployed. There's your motivation. And then they want, I wonder why all these brick and mortar stores are going out of business. Maybe because the employees feel oppressed and they're treated like crap. And on top of it, customers don't like being badgered to be upsold the entire time they're in a store. Look, there's the occasional time, I don't even know, it hasn't been since the 8th generation, but the occasional time I went into GameStop where it would be like, hey, you want to get the protection for the disc? No. Hey, you want to sign up for this? No. Hey, you want power up rewards? No. I don't want anything. I just want the damn game. You know, and I feel bad for the employees because they have to do it, and you see why they have to do it, but it makes you not want to go in there again. And with digital distribution being, granted, there's many downsides I've talked about, being way more convenient and storage being cheaper. I have 4 terabytes of storage in my PlayStation 5. Why am I going to waste my time driving to GameStop to get badgered by the employees who I feel bad? It's not their fault. They're forced to badger you. And especially, why would I want to support GameStop when I know they're treating their employees terribly? When a company is in this state, when they're doing this to their employees, the writing is on the wall. I know I've been saying this for years, but do you want to support a company that treats their employees like that? that stresses them out, that threatens them, that calls them 3 o'clock in the morning? Of course you don't. You shouldn't, and I'm not either. GameStop needs to go away. It's a relic from the past, and NFTs are sure as hell not going to save them. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
Exposed, 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 exposed.